For a minute. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, YouTube Saturday. This is the weekly live chat with my friends. Welcome to those who have joined. Just trying to set up my stream here and make sure that everything is playing correctly. Not really sure why I don't hear anything at the moment. That's really weird. Welcome, my friends. See if I can get this thing to actually work. Okay. So I don't know what's happening there. So, True Voice of Reason's here, and hey, notifications works. Yay! Welcome. What's going on, man? Just trying to set some stuff up here. I don't know what's going on. We are live, though. We are hanging out. We're going to talk about some hi-fi things. If you guys have any questions, and if you're watching this on the replay, either or, I'm going to try and keep the chat in the chat replay. I'm going to try to include that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ike, man, what's going on? Middle of the day type thing. I guess it's the same timeline for you as it is for me. Florida, right? Ish, somewhere near there. Yeah, I go on at about 4 p.m. ish. Weekdays, weekends, as I have time just to talk about stuff. Today, I wanted to really go over chat topics and ideas about how to inspire the next generation of hobbyists, because as we all know, with a lot of industries right now and in general everywhere in the world, the rate of retirement is coming into its prime, which is to say there are a lot of people that are, on their way to not working anymore. And I think the same thing affects a lot of hobbies right now, industries as well, trades, any work and employment, but as well as the music industry and the audio hi-fi industry. If we don't invest and invite the next generation of music lovers and audio hobbyists, then we are not going to have much of a hobby left. All of the people that are into the hobby now. Well, there's somebody I'm going to ban already. Timeout. 26 people here live. What's going on? So yeah, the idea of the stream today is to mention anything that can inspire a next generation of people, a next generation of hi-fi listeners, music fans, anything like that. There is a bit of a gateway to these things, and this last week I have been talking with a friend who's got, they have some audio things going on at home, and they ask for some advice, and they're playing music a certain way, and they say, hey, this kind of sounds weird, this has this sounds muddy, it doesn't sound clean. And then they describe to me how they're using their equipment, what it's connected to. They're using a phone connected to a dongle that's connected to an auxiliary cable connected to a guitar amp, and immediately something jumps out and says to me oh, that's not right. But I have the experience. I have 3 decades of experience to draw on, so I can't expect everyone to have the same experiences. And that's kind of the gatekeeping aspect of this, is to say that we don't all have the same knowledge, and we don't all come from the same background. So it's important to remember that not everybody's going to have the same level of understanding and perspective on the idea of audio and hobby when they start out. We all had to learn and come from somewhere, and that's a little bit better. So I'll go down the stairs, AC in the what? What? HACMVE library. Man, do I not know? Am I having a stroke? Do I not know how to read English? Storage run, med runs. Oh, okay. So just chores. Okay. Yes, 3/4 of the chain is the beginning, and that's what I tried to explain to someone who doesn't really understand what each of them do. This is someone in their, 20, 21 years old. They seem very well spoken, experienced. They can at least describe what they're using with accuracy. They describing to me that they're using a phone, that doesn't surprise me. A lot of young people, a lot of new generation, and entry level point to hi-fi and music right now, especially if you're young, you start with the phone, because the phone is the central hub. That is a priority to have a phone, but then it also streams internet and has music and YouTube and files and sharing. So you start with your phone, and then it's either Bluetooth, or if there's a possibility, then they use an auxiliary cable. Now that breaks down to a DAC of some kind, whether it's a dongle, which is a lightning or USB-C, to headphone jack, and then the headphone jack to RCA cables, I imagine, a splitter converter, and then the RCA cables, or a 3.5 millimeter out from the DAC to a 1/4 inch input for a guitar amp. I've never heard of somebody using a guitar amp to listen to music. I mean, he plays guitar, so he likes to play along with the guitar, so that's good. Anyways, just as a matter of breaking it down, I spoke with this person about what it is in the chain, like how do they want to use the audio system. Not everybody listens to music the same. They don't want to use it for the same thing. Even an older gentleman at work was asking me if a certain type of amplifier for a boat could add a microphone, and I thought, like, right off the top of my head, no, because what amplifier for a fucking boat has a microphone input? I mean, I assume they're trying to do like karaoke on the boat. And I thought, wow, like, is audio really a steep incline? Like, is it really difficult to understand how this stuff works? Is it that complicated? That the entry for enjoyment is steep? Where, someone who's in a boat that has an amp of some kind is asking about adding a microphone. I'm like, I don't. I mean, you could do it, but you need a preamp to plug into an amplifier. But then, assuming they want to run music at the same time, then you need a machine that's like a mixer that can run everything inside. So then you have to run a microphone, your sound source, all that kind of stuff into a mixer, and then a mixer can run the audio out to an amplifier. But I mean, if you're starting out in audio and you don't know what does what, then you just have these questions. You have a purpose. The purpose is in this, this young person's goal is, I have the guitar, I have music I want to listen to, and I play the guitar sometimes with the music, and if they play it all at the same time, their opinion is it doesn't sound great. And I thought, well, yeah, of course it's not going to sound great. You're talking about a guitar amplifier for music playback. Of course it's going to sound like ass. But then in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, that maybe I'm thinking about it a different way, because obviously in recording studios, they mic the amplifiers and they run keyboards through amplifiers with speakers, like an instrument amplifier. They mic those into a mixer and then they record it, and then, you know what I mean? So why wouldn't it sound right? What's going on there? So in my analysis of their position, I had to ask, well, what's the signal chain? What devices are you using? What model's the amp? What model's the phone? What model's the dongle? What kind of cable is it? I need to understand what they're putting into the signal chain in order to figure out what the next best move is. And if they're looking for an upgrade, then my real world suggestion to them as a new person in audio is to say, well, all of audio is about personal perspective. And if you have no experience in audio, then the best way to tell what works and what doesn't is to go and listen to it and to experiment. Where if you have your phone and a DAC and some speakers or whatever, and you don't know which one sounds bad or causing a problem, or which one could sound better, then you need to swap them one at a time in order to understand which one of them causes a certain sound. That's the same like anything in audio, and because audio is a sensory perception, our senses need to actually grasp what's going on. Then it has to be experienced. You have to sit down, you have to listen, that's this kind of thing. But I have to keep in mind, because it's a new person in audio, I don't want to make it sound complicated. I don't want it to sound like too much of a hassle. You know what I mean? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm bringing this up. I want to know from my friends, what is it that would inspire a next generation? A generation that doesn't have very much money, likely doesn't have very much patience, and they likely don't have too many options. Say if you grow up in a household where mom and dad or whoever is a musician and they like audio, then your family influences your options, because just like siblings will get hand-me-down clothes, in a family of people that are in the hobby, you automatically get like hand-me-down audio or like hand-me-down cars, or you know what I mean? Like it's influenced by proximity. Because the default environment already has audio, the next generation's inspired by that environment. But if you're talking about somebody who doesn't have the kind of influences around, it doesn't have anybody who has a system or experiences a system, then they're in a desert of audio where there's not that many options. And certainly would be the case in areas where there's no stores anymore, there's no shows anymore, there's no one to guide them along this path to say, hey, this kind of sound comes from this kind of sound comes from that, or hey, like here, borrow some stuff, take these home, check this out. The idea of going to a thrift store and just picking up some stuff and just trying it out. There's no experimenting with audio and these sounds anymore as a hobby, because one, it's expensive versus the other things that people have to pay for. And two, I mean, without someone guiding you through it, would any of us be in the hobby? It's something that I've been struggling with this week to answer is, how does the industry inspire another generation that doesn't have the same kind of background, the same options? What do we do? How do we present what I'm listening to, or what we do in HiFi or audio, to a generation that is new? Limited options, limited budget. And my suggestion is, instead of spending whatever money to get 2% better in your own audio system, buy some kid, some friend, some family friend, buy someone an audio system. Just buy it for them. Just give it to them. Instead of spending $500 on new cables, new risers, new footers for your speakers, just buy a used whatever and just give it to somebody that give it to someone's kids or a friend's kids, or donate it to a school or whatever, and just share and get more equipment out there, so that the younger kids or younger adults or whatever can actually have something and check out what it does. and maybe curiosity will inspire them. And you might hit 1 out of 50 people that is genuinely into it. But if we multiply that by the number of people we know in the hobby, then that's a significant increase. And because of social media and the way that kids interact, I think if they get into a new hobby and think, hey, like, this is actually pretty cool, it made a difference, they would share it in media, share it with their friends, invite their friends over, talk about it a little bit more. I mean, it's not as cool as, water guns, but you got to start somewhere. Cheers. I have my drink today. Just chilling out in the room. It's actually hot as shit this weekend. We've got wildfire smoke out to the west. Yeah, Canada's a little bit on fire this weekend, so I have nothing new in the audio system. The Bacard audio's in the other room, the Radiant acoustics in the other room, which haven't been powered for a little while, and I feel bad because the new preamp with XLR outputs needs new amplifiers, and I've been meaning to get in touch with, and I've been meaning to put some money towards Outlaw Audio. Outlaw Audio has their 2220 monoblock amplifiers, which are 200 watt Class AB amplifiers. And I really want to put those in my desktop setup at the front to power the Radiant acoustics. Now, those are way more power than I need for a small room, but I think that my other option, the Fosse Audio V3 monos, are going to run too lean for the Radiant acoustics. And now the reason why I don't have both systems set up, actually, I need to move this to the other side because the sunset is blasting me in my face. I've got a window over there. And that window right there is blasting the sun right in my eyes. There we go. Thanks for hanging out on a Saturday, by the way. I know this is a little unconventional, and hopefully the notifications reach all my friends. I'm having a bad face day, so I don't think I'll be on camera today. What was I? Oh yeah, the Outlaw Audio monoblock Class AB versus the Fosse Audio, the Fosse Audio V3 monos. Now, I don't know that these two amps have been compared. I know a number of people that have the Outlaws. Youthman's got them. I think my buddy Porfy's got them. I think that, I mean, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Outlaw Audio. Taz, what's going on? Nice audio setup. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's the purpose of the video here. We're talking about inspiring new people, new kids, or new young adults to get into audio. What is it going to take? What kinds of things can we do to inspire, the investment into audio? What do we do? My suggestion is to gift some systems, buy something new for someone's family, friends, or whatever. If you got cousins, younger cousins, just buy them something. But buy them something that's new, that's relatively inexpensive. Get them into the hobby, show them how it works. Get them something that they'll actually use all the time, like something mobile, something easy. A pair of powered bookshelf speakers is a great idea. Obviously, they don't have to be into the thousands of dollars, but there's plenty of options out there for under $500. Plenty of options. I mean, there's many brands now that make amplifiers for under $2. And then if you can get them small enough and just get them started, then they can understand how this stuff works. It doesn't have to be this. These are $5,000 plus towers, $1,000 subwoofers plus $800 monoblocks, and that's reasonable. $800 for 500 watts is amazing. Shout out to Buckeye Amps. When I got these a little while ago, and I did make my way to Buckeye Amps via the Orchard Audio route, and the Orchard Audio Star Crimson monos, the premium mono chassis, were amazing. They're really tiny amps, great sound, great control, good bass response. They run cold. You're never going to get any heat off them, which is great because it's hot as hell right now where I am at. Well, for me, it is warm anyways. So there's reasonable and amazing types of sounds in the entry level that I think it would make a lot of sense if we just invest in the hobby's future. Just gift the experience of music to someone that we know, someone that could benefit, someone that'll appreciate it, someone that will grow into the hobby, and then it has a future. I mean, what is the point of our time on Earth if it isn't to inspire who comes next? Like, what are we doing on this planet if we don't do something positive for those who inherit what we leave behind? I mean, if you have kids, if you're a parent, you know that your efforts and your inspiration for doing everything in life is to give your children a better life. And I think that anybody's kids can benefit from that. It doesn't matter. We're talking about the human species and the planet that hosts everyone. So whether it's audio or not, or school or education or whatever it is, our whole adventure here is to try and improve on current circumstances, whatever it happens to be. Innovate, create something. Gift of audio and music to youth or anybody, young adults or whatever, that would really appreciate it. I think it would be really, really awesome. And I think that's the way to do it, is to just gift them some stuff. In my lifetime, since I started, and I've always been into Paradigm audio. And Paradigm, for those who don't know, is Canadian made, assembled in Canada anyways, because they do buy a lot of their parts from China, but not assembled in China. They're just raw parts, like this piece or that piece or whatever. It comes from different vendors. A lot of the vendors are Canadian. I think if they did a percentage, I would say that more than 60% of their suppliers are Canadian or local, like US or Canadian. So they're not imported from overseas. Some things still have to be, because that's just the way the global market is. But I think that Paradigm in general, that's who inspired me when I grew up. And it always made me excited. And I've gifted a number of people those speakers. I've given away powered speakers. I've given away passive ones. I've given probably 4 or 5 pairs of speakers in my life. I've given away to friends, just so they have something interesting, something cool to listen to, something, that kind of thing. And I think that's one way to inspire the youth, is to just give them stuff. Gift them a system and explain, like, hey, this does this, this does that, this is how this works, and I think that'll be a really good way to inspire and to interest a new generation of people into the idea of audio and what it means and how it's made and all that kind of stuff, whether it's do it yourself or if it's just a system in general. A lot of kids are into DJing, live parties, using the computer for sound, but speakers and connections, DACs, all that stuff is still important, even if they're using like a laptop or a phone as a source. You still have to explain like the Bluetooth technology, how the Wi-Fi system works, and to get the best out of it, At least that's what I think. Chat's really slow, you guys. Well, I found out that actually 60% or 70% actually watch on a TV. And if you're watching on a TV, then I don't know if there's an interaction button there to interact with the chat or to like the stream or to have reactions. Usually on a TV, it's pretty passive. You just kind of put it on and just leave it there, which is cool. I know that people are busy and I don't expect everybody to be involved, and it's all good. Last week we did a music listening session. I had my weekly playlist. This week I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep this one relatively short because I want this topic to extend and reach out to people, and I'd like for people to share it, to see what people think, is to see what anybody young or new thinks. Like, are these ideas valuable? Like, I think that a lot of people love free stuff. Free stuff, you can't go wrong. So if we can inspire and donate something, maybe even like brands can get in on it, and then they can do like an event where they're going to give some stuff away to some kids. So like at Montreal Audio Fest this last year, I think I can almost sit here now. There's right there, the sun is beaming into my face. Montreal Audio Fest this year, 2025, in March, there's one of my videos. You can see that they did that's exactly what they did. They hosted a 25 and under contest for visitors of the show. And I think most of them were like around 10 or 12 years old. Maybe even some of them were younger than that. They were there with their parents. And they gave away 6 audio systems. And I think it was truly incredible. You can go back and check it out. One of my previous videos, that's the Montreal Audio Fest 25 part 2. It'll be the downstairs video where I have my camera set up and I'm filming the giveaway that they did for 6 audio systems. And I think that's truly inspiring, to give away audio systems like that, some gear that's just sitting around. And like I said, for all the people who are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on their own system just to sit and enjoy it on their own, I think that's not a wise investment. I mean, I know that a lot of people want to be rewarded for their hard work, and selfishness or self-centeredness is just a habitual thinking. But I mean, I really think that $500 spent in the right way to someone that's in the family that's younger really might make a difference in the industry overall. And then the way that I had my system set up when I bought my paradigms and my system when I was young, I had many friends come over and enjoy the system. The same way I have a room set up here, I can have my friends come over and listen to music with me. I mean, not with one chair. If I only have one chair, it's going to be kind of hard to have anybody come in and listen. But I mean, like, if I knew the right person or whatever, they could sit, and then someone could sit, and then, not to say who and what, but you know what I mean. God, let's not make it complicated. Make some space for your friends. Share the audio with your friends. That's what inspired me to get into the hobby. And most hobbies are about communities. The people that are involved are really inspiring. It's not the gear, really. Home Theater Denmark, hey brother, finally made it, yay. I'm not even sure what time it is there, but I think, what is it, 4:30 here, so it's got to be like 9:30 there, 10. I wish I was in Germany right now, because there's a concert going on, Rock in the Park, something like that, and amazing bands are playing there this evening, so I kind of wish I was over there. 11 p.m. Yeah, pretty late. So that concert's probably done now. I should probably be getting a lot of updates on my phone about that concert. But yeah, the youth, and like inspiring a next generation of people to, into audio. That's what I was talking about today. Basically, how do we inspire another generation of kids, another generation of people to get into the hobby, to enjoy, and I really do think that giving away some stuff, giving away some free systems, gifting some used gear, or donating some stuff to someone in the family or family friends or whatever is the best way to do it. The only, everybody loves some free stuff. And I think if we have a way to just give some hand-me-down audio to the younger generation, they're going to get inspired. They're going to find out what a difference it makes and start to understand about like music production and quality and start to appreciate quality again. Because essentially hi-fi is that. It's high fidelity and getting more quality out of something rather than quantity. Like content creation now is about how many videos you can knock out in a week and how many likes and views you can watch and how many ad revenue sales you can make and blah, blah, blah. And this and that metric versus that metric. It's crazy that this race for numbers has almost erased the idea of quality. I don't know. It's hard to grasp, but anyways, that's my take on it. That's the reason why I'm doing the stream today, and glad everybody could join me for a little bit. True Voice of Reason, Home Theater Denmark, and Taz was here for a couple minutes. We had Joshua from Ecuador, that's Argentina flag, blue and white. Peter Mays was here. Ike was here for a little bit. Easy HT Tech. Trones was here, probably still lurking in the background. Trones hangs out for a little bit. I know, just puts on the stream in the background, listens to my face open up and make sounds. Home Theater Denmark's replying, kids today are hooked on the internet and not doing anything for a job. They all want to be YouTubers and influencers. Yes, and that's because of ad revenue. The only way that YouTube and influencers get paid is because of ad revenue and sales through influence that's like online. So the content doesn't have to be anything effective. It just has to be there. And then through the content, they put things like either in the ads or mention like sponsored advertisements. That's how it works. People are aspiring to be advertisers. And I mean, compared to working in a factory, hell yeah. I work in a factory and I would rather be on YouTube all day, and I'm like 45 years old. Why would you ever want to work in a factory where managers and power hierarchies treat people like shit? It's no wonder kids don't want to work where their parents work, where their parents come home and complain about work, and everybody else in the world on the internet and whatever talk about how shitty Amazon is, or how this place treats you like crazy, and how this place treats you poorly, and there's so much stress. And why would any kid want to work in a place like that and be inspired to work anywhere other than for themselves? The problem there is, if nobody goes to work, we are going to have a collapse in society. I don't know, that's just a perspective of mine. I think that there really, really needs to be a shift around how to motivate, support, inspire, and it's not built on these raging, extreme agendas and swinging for equality against the pendulum. It's not going to be that way. I understand that everybody's fighting for fairness, and yes, that's true. But if we lose sight of the future in fighting for today's fairness, the future is going to be completely shit for whoever has to inherit it. That's not a good setup. Home Theater Denmark replies, anyway, sad day for me. My projector is sent for repairs and my 75-inch Sony TV just broke down. Only Philips HD TV for me now. That's such a shame. You poor, poor person. All of these really expensive toys that are just happen to be breaking down and getting repaired. Oh. I'm playing, but it is like, it's a luxury. TV, projector, home theater, audio system, all this stuff is luxury, and that's why it's a matter of convincing and showing the value of this luxury to a generation who doesn't know anything about it, doesn't appreciate it. Also for people like what I hear a lot in audio is gatekeeping. Like a lot of the older generation, a lot of businesses are just looking for people with money, and the only people that have money are the people that are older. Nobody younger really has the money to pay for half the stuff that's out there. They look at one of these subwoofers and they say, oh, how much are the towers, how much, whatever. And then you tell them they're like thousands of dollars, and immediately they're like, nah, never mind. You got to say, there's got to be a way to produce something that's reasonable, and the community has to stop knocking down anything coming from overseas or any other place that's really cheap, because some of these younger adults and kids, they don't know the difference. They never had anything. You need to let them experience it. Let them get into it. Let them explore the idea of really cheap, and then gain some ground to say, hey, you've had this system for a year, and so like, what do you think of these Logitechs? And they're going to say, okay, they sound fine. And then right next to them, you can put on some Klipsch RP600s or whatever. And then next to those, you can play some SVS. And then you can go up the line and play some like Paradigm, and then PSB. And then you get into other brands, just keep going up the chain, play some Arundel speakers and say, oh my God, like these sound way better. And then all of a sudden, these kids have a direction. It's like any sport, you play in, if you play in Walmart running shoes and then you give a kid a pair of Jordans, they're going to get inspired. Home Theater Denmark's replying, I have the money since I'm paying off huge dental bill. Yeah, I feel that. I understand how that works. And that's how we veterans are treated in Denmark. Only small pension to live on, but I keep fake smiling like always. Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, I'm not even retired, and I don't know what the treatment is like. And I know that everything is shorthanded these days. They have this big ask of communities and societies, like, hey, let's welcome all these immigrants. Let's welcome all this change. Let's wave these colorful flags. Let's be nice. Let's do this. Let's do that. They want everybody's fucking help, except for when it comes to being paid for the life that you deserve to have. They don't want to pay you right. They don't want to support pension. They don't want to support veterans. They don't want to support their healthcare system. They don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not equal. They're the half of government operations that I know of are completely corrupted, but they'll ask you for more and more and more and more. Companies, the same thing. You work for a brand, they want your 100%. They want you to act right, treat right, don't speak out, do your work. They want you to be perfect. But if management's not perfect and something goes wrong, they don't take any responsibility. It's like, come on. Don't give me that shit. Why did you go with SVS, by the way, and not Arundel subs? Okay, so the story behind the subs is I was on YouTube and Facebook one day for one of the SVS lives that they do, and I won the contest for free product. They were giving away some products, and they do that some days. SVS is really good about giving away free stuff, which is awesome. The only problem is I think that a lot of those people that get the free stuff probably just get it home and sell it, instead of it going to people who actually really appreciate it. So I won free product, and I got the subs, and I ended up they ended up sending me the bookshelves as well, but they were lent basically. So I tried out the bookshelves for a while, and they were a lot of fun. Compared them, did a lot of videos with those, and yeah, I kept the subs in here and the bookshelves somewhere else. So that's the story with the subs. Arundel, I've had Arundel in my system for a while, like more than a year, and I've done a lot of media and photos and advertising and whatever, but I was never offered anything. I was never offered a pair of matching subs to go with the towers, to review, to sample, nothing like that. I have no real setup or connection with Arundel at this point. I got really fortunate because other friends do know Arundel well. Youthman, Jay, the Audioholics crew, and I'm not really well known, and my style of media isn't used in advertising. If you look at Arundel's advertising, like everybody, go and look at Arundel's advertising on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram or whatever, and they have all of the peers that I know, like Audioholics, Youthman, Villaman, Jay, K-Pace Guy, anybody, like any number of 10 different people, Nemo Propaganda, a ton of people, and they make media clips from their videos. Now, I've done just as many videos, if not more. These speakers are probably featured in, I don't know, 50 videos on my channel, but they don't use anything that I say. None of my talking points, none of my photos, none of my, I've applied to work for them a couple of times, no accepting. I'm just not what they're looking for in a media sense. I mean, of course, they love the free advertising, everybody does, but as an official face, my style doesn't suit them. So I'm better off as a photographer and not talking. my talking points, I'm a little raw. So that is what it is. Do they match well together? Yeah, because I blended them that way. It's more like the subs match the room. There's not really a conflict between sealed subs and ported. Not in here anyways. I have them phase adjusted. I was saving up for Epson L12000, but I had to take the money to use for bills. Gotcha. Yeah, PTSD is, yeah. System and half the system decline compensation. Yeah, it's terrible, man. Our basic needs as human beings are not being met on things, but then, like, what are our options? Saw the live stream, man, freaking awesome. Congrats, ASVS. I would love to try out your products. Yeah, exactly. Going back to inspire new generation, True Voice of Reason says, I have a system, just need a little time to put it together, and I've built a preamp, and the whole thing costs less than $30. Yeah, see, there you go. Like, that's amazing. Imagine if they put, like, electronics classes and courses in school, and you could do, like, build your own amps and then go to the wood shop and build your own speakers in school. Man, we'd have engineers all over the place. You just put it in their hands. I don't know what they're doing now. I have no idea. The education system's another thing that's falling apart. If that doesn't inspire people, I don't know what will. Well, yeah, there you go. Home Theater Denmark, I was just thinking same about your style. No hate, just honestly from them, I guess. I like your setup, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have worked with a number of different brands. I mean, obviously, I have the Radiant Acoustics in the other room and the Bucard Audio in the other room. I still display the Bucard Audio sticks logo there, even though the Bucard Audios are not in here. See, the thing is, like, I have amplifiers in here, and the powered speakers are in the other room. Now, I can swap them out and bring them in here, but I don't often move my system around. I have everything marked, but I don't actually move it around that much. And then the other thing is, my style of video is live, and that has its ups and downs. Now, I did a live with for Boris and Acoustics at one point, and I love the brand. I love the style. I think they're some of the best looking speakers. I love their philosophy. All the people that work there are great. Unfortunately, during one of my lives, I ran into an issue, and that didn't go over very well. So they ended up taking the speakers back for an issue, and I never got them after that. Kind of lost touch with everybody after that point. And that's just how it goes. They're in the business of making money. And I mean, I'm not concerned with the money. I'm concerned with the truth and telling people what's really going on, and whatever that is. I mean, it doesn't always align with sales, because sales is based on closing a deal, and they'll omit information and not tell you something, or not go into a topic, or not talk about this. And there's, you know what I mean? Like, there's this etiquette, and there's this chain of communication with sales and advertising and media that you don't want mixed into everything. Like I just talked about government and world politics a minute ago, and this video won't be used in any stream, or maybe part of it might be used to talk about the products. But in general, that's not something that a lot of advertisers want to dabble with, because they have a purpose. They have a direct, and they only want to talk about whatever it is that they're trying to sell. And I get that. I'm not a PR person. I'm not an advertiser. I'm not trying to be a salesperson. My whole point here is to create community. And I think community is based on trust. And from what I hear from behind the lines and a lot of behind the scenes stuff, I don't know that many people would trust what's going on out there. But they have this thing, about, protecting an image, and, you can get blacklisted for this and that. And you know what I mean? So it's like, it's weird. It's really weird. So Home Theater Denmark saying, hold on, I gotta read these comments. They keep disappearing every time I see something new. May I use your stream? I need to say this. If you or anyone knows a veteran, please take time to check in on him or her. Yes, 100%. Send them a text, say what's up. And you know what? I want to say that to everybody right now, to say that don't put off replying to text. If you see a message, if you see posts, if you see anything from friends, reach out to them. Let them know that you're paying attention. Let them know you're still around. I wrote to my friends this week. I've told them that every time I post online, it's me reaching out to my friends, because otherwise, why would I put it online? I don't have to call you directly. Don't make me do the hard work. If I'm the one that's going through something, why do I have to save myself in that sense? It's like, oh, reach out to me. I'll listen. I'm here for you. Like, really? Well, reply to something. Interact with something. If it's, if there's enough time to say, yeah, I'm there for you, but you don't have the time to interact with some of the things that, we reach out to, then yeah, you're 100% right. Take some time and reach out to a veteran, reach out to a friend, reach out to some people that are in your network and just say, hey, how are you doing? You don't have to spend 20 minutes. You don't have to spend a long time. Just say anything, just anything at all. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, most of us spend at least 2 or 3 minutes in the washroom every day, right? I assume most of us have a regular diet, regular bowel movements. If you're in the bathroom, if you have to sit, spend any one of those minutes, just message a friend and say, hey, what's going on? I thought about you. And be like, hey, what's going on? I'm doing good. Thanks, blah, blah, blah. Like that means the world to people. You never know what's going on. You never know who's going through what. And this is another reason why, and I'm going to defend my style here. That's the reason why I'm here talking live with my friends, rather than this being a video that you put on in the background or put on one day on YouTube and watch and just passively watch it like you would a TV show. Right now, if you have the option, you can ask me a question. I'm here to actually listen to you. I'm here to actually take a question and read back whatever it is that you have to say. That's the reason why I'm doing this live. Hello. Hi. It's live. I'm going to see outside right now. The reason why we're here live is to interact, to be friends, to be connected. That's the reason. That's the purpose. That's the whole idea behind the community. Home Theater Denmark says companies need to be transparent. Simple as that. It's the same as in government. Yeah, I wish. There's a whole thing around like the rules, like you're not supposed to cause panic, right? Panic is definitely not beneficial for emergency sake, so you don't want to do that. There are methods. Yes, I agree with transparency as well. If you're if you're not good enough to conduct business in a transparent way, you don't deserve success. If you have to be corrupt and manipulative and sly, and you have to use some sort of like psychological technique and use the fanciest fucking definition for whatever it is that's holding up your cables, if you have to use colorful language in order to describe what's going on, like the most effluent type of words to describe a product, man, then it's not standing on its own merit. that's playing games in order to succeed. And I don't know if I mean, I don't have a lot of respect for that. Quality of product should speak for itself. You don't, like, marketing specialists use psychological techniques and wordings in order to create interest. There wouldn't be interest there, in other words. They're using a technique and training and education in order to make it sound better. Doesn't matter what it is. You ever read the descriptions in, like, Amazon's description box from, like, other places that don't speak English? They're trying to make it sound great. Holy shit. Word salad much? And it's a game. That's what it's all about. The most amazing, outstanding, phenomenal. It's all, you know what I mean? It's all subjective, sort of influential words. Let me see. So people behind transparent governments, people behind want to make money and just go along. Nah, truth is important. I believe the truth is important. I believe transparency is important. I believe that being honest with people and having integrity and respect is important. If that can't be maintained at all times, then I don't know what people are doing. And the other day I posted something in my Instagram that said something like the ends justify the means. So if the end is making money, then it doesn't matter how you make the money, you just do whatever it is. And therefore, like, people in media and influencers or whatever will just do anything, dance however they need to dance, say whatever they need to say. As long as they make the sale, it doesn't matter. If they have to lie to people's face in order to make the sale at the end of the day, then that's what they're going to do. They're just going to take your money, pat themselves on the back, go sit down, have a cigar, play some golf. They're like, that's the way it is. I mean, and if that's the way it is, why am I trying to be a nice person? Why is anybody encouraged to be a nice person? You know what my theory is? People that act like sharks want everybody else to be a nice person, so there's less competition. Because if everybody was a shark and they acted like a wolf in the business, then there wouldn't be sheep to sell to. Everybody would be on everybody's shoulders. And I don't know, that's just the way it seems. You peer behind the curtain and it's like Wizard of Oz. It's like a facade in order to make it happen. Now, that's not everyone. We all know that. Some companies, some product, the way that it works out there is you have genuine, and then you've got some of the tactics. And I don't want to point fingers, and I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to, because I don't know 100%. But it's my perspective, being in companies, being behind the curtains, listening to stories in the back rooms, listening to people talk in the industry, like when customers are not around. It's not the same conversation as when there's customers in the room. I can fucking guarantee you that. It's just not the same. And why is that? Why is that even a fact? Why is the back end conversation, why is the behind the curtain conversation different from what it would be in front of clients, in front of customers, in front of the public? Why is that conversation different? Unless it's absolutely proprietary or secret. Why would any of it sound different? That blows my mind. Everybody praises honesty when it comes to, virtue signaling, but when it comes to behaving and acting that way when it matters, what happens? I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying it's a question of mine. I don't know why that's the case. But, I mean, to go back to the original point, how do you inspire a generation of new people into audio is don't treat them like customers. I mean, that's part of the problem. I think that with all of the media online, social media behind the scenes, kids these days have access to information that's just flying out of companies. People just, blowing whistles, talking about brands, talking about how it works. They seem to have an idea of like what things actually cost, what the markups are. Things just don't seem worth it. They're not tricked into this stuff. They're not being sold on nostalgia. They weren't alive in the 70s to know what it looked like to have wood paneling on the side of your receivers. They have no idea what it's like to tune an AM/FM radio. It doesn't mean anything to them. So you can't sell them on nostalgia. And when that well of income dries up and all of the boomers retire or otherwise, and there's no more market in that age range, then what? That's the whole question. That's the point of all of these discussions, is what do we do then? What does the industry do then when the numbers of people that are supporting that high end, that super rich high end, then what happens? There's no more of that. No more $1 million systems, no more $10,000 systems. What happens when, the next generation just isn't interested? They don't care anymore. Then it's gone. Home Theater Denmark saying, this is why we need you guys on YouTube to tell us what's up. Sort of yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of people on YouTube that either used to work for brands, used to work for magazines, still work for magazines, and 100% they're taking money off the screens and under the table to do product placement or to do reviews. 100% they are. They're never going to tell you, because if they tell you, then they can't make the money. And the whole point, like we established, is fucking money. They're after it for the money. They're not in it for honesty. Honesty doesn't pay money. We all know that. Being honest at your job a lot of the times will get you fired. It won't get you promoted. You can't tell managers, or you can't tell staff, or you can't tell departments what's really going on, or your real opinion, or point out real details like, hey, did you see the fire extinguisher system, whatever, was outdated by 2 years? Like, why didn't you update that? Oh, shut up. Don't say anything. That'll cost us this much money. Like, excuse me? Like, to check the fire extinguisher system? To check the fire suppressant system that's outdated by 2 years? Like, what? Yeah, it's going to cost you money, but I mean, what happens if it's not working when there's a fire? Cost you even more. It's a mentality of a lot of businesses. And I've, in the many places that I've worked, they've all had at least one or two of those moments where they'll cut a corner or more just to save money. They all of them, everywhere I've worked in manufacturing, they've all done it. And of course, they don't want to tell anything. And you're not allowed to say anything like that, because what happens when you get hired? They make you sign an NDA, so you're legally bound to keep your mouth shut. That's convenient. In an industry like, you need to have a system that reaches the artist's intent. Yeah, the artist intent. Good story. I don't know what's going on out there, man. So I was alive when we had wood paneling on the walls. Yeah, for sure. Wood paneling basements. Yeah, I remember. I've been in some of those basements with those like brown and cream colored couches with the wooden handles around the front, wooden legs. Yeah, I think we all had one of those houses in our background. Home Theater Denmark says, HTD, I'm going to call you. HTD. Well, keep it old school until we ain't here anymore. That's all we can do. We can't force the kids. No, you're right. You can inspire them, and it's different. Forcing is never going to work. Inspiring is the word. How to inspire a generation. So you are speaking real world issues, but who can do something about it if the rich don't care about honesty and being transparent? Well, there are a few solutions, but none of them are easy, and a lot of people don't want to go there. We used to. The thousands of years of history we have will reflect many, many instances where a great number of people had to sacrifice in order to make change. But the powers and the rulers and the financially interested peoples of the world created new systems after the quote world wars. They don't want numbers of people getting together. They don't want people to realize the truths. They don't want to even let people speak the truths. Look how many people spoke out about the world pandemic, and they turned out to be right. And there's no apology, there's no recourse, there's no we were wrong. No one takes accountability. Nothing. They all, a lot of them broke the fucking law, and none of them are going to jail. Nothing happens. They own everything. They manipulate everything. They control everything. It's not even a conspiracy theory at this point. It's just a look at the evidence. And if you're a goldfish, then you can't remember what happened. Of course, that's what they want from everybody. ADHD minds with no memory and no tracking what happens, and everything's digital, so they can just erase it. It's like dishonesty has become so normalized that people don't realize what it costs. And being honest about, when this guy that I'm trying to set up the audio system, talking with them about the audio cable, connecting to the phone, and then getting the right equipment. I said the reason why I'm reflecting on the choices or the options to make your system sound better are because I don't want you to buy something that is a waste of time. I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to talk somebody into buying something that is a worthless piece of trash. I don't want to, and I will say what it is. If I got a product in here that doesn't work right, for whatever reason, and I love Rotel, and my friends work at Rotel, and I get really good deals because of the friends I work at Rotel. This unit, for whatever reason, has some issues. Now, if I say that, it makes the brand look questionable. They're worried about the market. They don't want to say negative things. I can keep it quiet, then I can get it fixed. But the truth is, it's got an issue. That's the truth, right? Would I get punished for telling the truth? According to business, fuck yeah, I would get in trouble. Because they don't want a tarnished image of their brand, because that means people are going to be hesitant. They're not going to buy it. But if they fix it, and they acknowledge what happened, and they're transparent about fixing the issue, and they present it as we had this issue, but then we did this, and then we did this, and we discovered it, and thank you so much for showing us that there was this problem, and we put it in back to the engineering, and now we discovered this whatever, then it's like my efforts telling the truth were rewarded rather than being punished. But how many companies do that shit? Never. So far as I know, never. If you ever point out a mistake in a company, they would sooner fire you and then fix it behind your back than give you a reward for being honest. Unbelievable. HTD's saying, I try to inspire my son to get in a music system home theater. He saw Star Wars together on a big screen, had an okay system when he was a kid, and then he loved to dance around. But he decided to be a gamer. See, well, gamers too, and I'm a gamer too. Every gamer has headphones or an audio system or surround sound, and that means that they are immersed in some audio. Every game has got surround sound now. So that's not to say that they're not interested. They just have to be shown while they're gaming, hey, what about this in a gaming system? You guys have all seen my home theater system. And if anybody's new here, I see 7 people. 7 people are watching. If anybody's new here, type in home theater and I'll show you my other room. And if you're watching on a TV, then sorry. Try to watch on a phone or a device you can type, and then you can be part of the conversation. I was alive when I was smacked by my parents for behaving badly. I've had many broken spoons across my ass when I was young. Yes, 100%. I am of that generation. I am of the generation where being disciplined or breaking a rule or being, misbehaving in a certain way, if you did something bad and it was against whatever, of course you got punished. That's the way the world is going to be. The world is going to kick you in your face if you do something wrong. You need to get that experience when you're young, because if you grow up without knowing consequences, then you go out into the world and you do something and all of a sudden it's like, what? Oh, I don't understand what's happening. That's what's wrong with a lot of young people right now. They have no consequences. They don't grasp the idea of being held responsible. Could be why some management right now isn't being responsible. So I was born in the 60s, and most of my favorite was in the 70s. So wood and floral nasty print was a left lasting impression. Yeah, exactly. I hear, but you don't see the details or see the stuff that we hear, see, listen for. Yes, exactly. And I understand, like, that comment was talking about gaming and gaming systems. It's like you have to be shown the difference. The only, as long as they can hear it, they're winning in the game works, then they're okay with it. Like, there's nothing else that really matters in there. And I kind of get that. I understand that that's their level of experience, because as long as the game works, the PC works, the screen works, the game doesn't glitch, then they're okay. They're not as interested in the sound. They're not as interested in the equipment, but they have to be shown the difference. If they have bad headphones and they can't hear the game right, then they could be missing something, like enemies coming up behind them or above them or below them. And if you're able to show these kids like how better headphones or better audio systems can improve their gaming, they'll get interested. Be like, hey, like, just as much as upgrading my graphics card, I can upgrade my headphones. Yeah, because audio is an experience that you have to hear for yourself. You can't be told about the audio. It's like the Matrix. Audio systems are like the Matrix. You can't be told what the Matrix is. You have to be shown. You have to see it for yourself. And I will show you the theater system. It's pretty dark in here, actually. See if I can turn the lights on. So there's the audio system. Let it stabilize here. So monolith Encore speakers there. I have a bookshelf there for the theater, and then another tower there for the theater. This is the 2-channel system, so I've got the Radiant acoustics there. YG, no, not YG. Kanto passive speakers there. Bucart audio there. There's the preamp, DAC, SMSL for the Radiant acoustics. So that's the 2-channel sort of console in the middle, and then the home theater height channels, and then my rear surrounds. This is actually the center channel from Monolith, but I've got it turned side to be a side channel, and then I've got them all the way around. And then the height channels on my clever little suspended thing. So that's the home theater system as requested and as promised. Yeah, it's a nice little system. I've got, the curtains everywhere to minimize the reflections off the walls. I know that these speakers and everything in the front here is a real problem for front imaging. To be honest, there's nothing really I can do about that. This is the way I want the system set up because I use the computer every day. The theater system sounds good enough for gaming and movies. The height, that's my listening height, basically. So when I'm listening to movies, the tweeter is right above the monitor, and all of the tweeter levels are all the same all the way around the front. You see that? So it's done well enough that everything's sort of like it bypasses everything. There's nothing really blocking. From left to right, some of the crosstalk might be bouncing off here, and then the center channel, obviously, it's bouncing off the back of the monitor. But I'm not really concerned about that. Home theater sound isn't my priority. My priority is 2-channel sound. Music needs better resolution, in my opinion. I'm not as concerned with theater resolution. As long as I can hear it coming from a certain direction, the directionality is what I really want. As long as I can get that out of my system, then I'm happy. And then, of course, all my CDs and stuff. So, yeah, these monoliths are great. They're properly engineered. They sound awesome for what they are. They're really inexpensive. I did a number of different things with Monolith, Monoprice, when they came out. And, you know, all of my speakers, if you notice, they all have a what? All of the speakers, all of the speakers that I have all have the same thing. Pretty cool. Just preference and sound, I guess. So have you tried without a center and go phantom image? I have, but I prefer to have the center image. The content in the left and right gets a little busy and it doesn't sound as clean. So then Rotel CD player preamp and Buckeye amps, the 500 watt Purify models with the extra capacity board. So you see these extra lights on the side here, that's the capacitor board. There's 40,000 extra microfarads in there for the power supply. So the dynamics and punch that I can get from these towers is absolutely ridiculous. And I still believe these are the best towers you can buy for the price. Arundel just absolutely killed it. These towers for like 5,200 US or whatever the case may be, 4,600 whatever, are the best that you could get. Honestly, in my opinion, they're the best you can get. Hold on, let me flip the camera. Oh, I can't zoom out. Zoom out. Oh, my camera's not working. No. What did I do? Anyways. Damn, what the fuck did I do to this? There we go. Jesus, only took me like 7 tries. Waveguide, yes, exactly. All the speakers have a waveguide. So even the Radiant Acoustics with the AMT tweeter and the fins still has a waveguide. The monolith speakers, same sort of waveguide. Soft dome tweeter, waveguide. Bucard Audio, it's an aluminum dome tweeter, but still has the same profile waveguide. Arundel Towers, there you go, right in front of you. Soft dome, waveguide, just like the monoliths. Very, very, very similar design. I wonder what the connection is. I like it. It works for you, and that's all that matters. 100%. Clean sound is a must. That's true. Would you say they are suited for your size room and more? Yes, a medium-sized room. I think they sound really great. There's still a lot of low bass from the towers. Volume-wise, I don't play them very loud, so I couldn't tell you what the volume is. But I would include a subwoofer. Actually, in the theater, I want 4 subwoofers. But, you know, I don't have the budget. I'm not working with the brand. I'm not getting anything in. So if 3-channel was Sinatra's passion, it must have been worthwhile. Interesting. That's a good point. I'd love to see where that's quoted. By the way, you are recording for Insta. If not, flip the cam 60. No, I can't. I can't flip the camera sideways. It won't let me. It's mobile use on YouTube, and YouTube, once it's in this format, won't flip to the side. The Matrix is here. That's funny. Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 13 minutes. I don't know if you guys are up for a little bit more. I mean, I got some stuff to do later on. I didn't think I was going to be on this long. But thank you for being here. You guys have been great to actually talk with, you know, bounce some ideas back and forth. I hit a lot of hot topic stuff this stream. Talked about work, government, manufacturing, management, perspectives in the world. Geez, I'm all over the place today. Just, I guess, there's a lot of stuff on my mind lately. Like, you know, this is the way that I can let it out. This is my weekend. This is how I can express what's going on. It's YouTube, right? Let's not forget that. The platform is called YouTube. Even though it's mostly used for advertising now, it's called YouTube. It's supposed to be about you. Right? We have just become so programmed, and advertising has become so, you know, insidiously injected into our social media that we just we take it as being normalized, but it's abnormal. Advertising for product and sales and money is just absolutely everywhere. It's part of everything now. We just take it for granted. It's so gross. It makes me gross having to do anything just for this purpose. I mean, I go to work and I make money, and this is the other way. Like, do I have to be on here pretending that I like it to be making money? Like the way I have to pretend to like my job in order to keep my job? No, this is a place for me to be me within the rules of public display and the user agreement. As long as I'm not talking about certain things, then YouTube will keep my videos up. So the whole point is, like, I'm not looking to make money. I would rather the currency that I earn on my platform to be your trust. If you trust me and you believe what I'm saying is honest, then I have done my job here. If your trust and your respect for what I do here is given and earned, then I have done my job. I don't need to make money. I don't need people to send me money. Of course, it helps with the necessities of life, but that's not the point. I would rather be respected than be rich. Honestly, in the world, I would rather be respected than famous. I mean, the more people that know you, I guess you're respected and famous at the same time, but that's, yeah. I would much, much rather have the respect of my peers that I would earn more money or whatever. It makes life easier, yes, of course, but I know that there are a lot of really rich people out there that are fucking miserable, and I wonder why. Y'all seen Scarface at the end of the movie? There's lessons there, and I don't know that a lot of people tune into it. The whole system makes you like immune to realization. So money makes the world go around, some say. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know that money, if you didn't trust the things you were buying, would you still buy them? Like, if you got into your car every morning, you have to trust that that car is going to get you to where you're going. Or when you buy food, you have to trust that the system, the people, the brand, the industry, you have to trust that the food is safe to eat. Otherwise, you wouldn't buy it. Just checked if you had a live, and there it is. Hello, friends. Hello, we've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. I apologize. I might have to dip out in another 10 or 20. But yeah, to go on, like, I think that trust and respect are highly valuable currencies. The same way, like time, you can't buy time. And spending time with people, for people, is very, very valuable. There are a lot of, like, I've heard from certain people, and there's a lot of quotes. Like in Avengers Endgame, I think it is, there's a quote, Tony's talking to his father in the timeline, spoiler alert, and he says, no amount of money ever bought a moment of happiness, a moment of time. So it doesn't matter how rich you are, your time is constantly being taken from you or passing you by. No amount of money can get you more time. So your time is incredibly valuable, and what you do in that time is important. Trust and respect are the kinds of currencies you can't buy with money. You have to earn those, or you have to maintain them. Maybe people trust you and respect you to begin with, but can be gone just like that. Trust is easily broken, yes. Just like that. I gotta snap in the video. You see me in the mirror? That's why my mirror is there, by the way. So you guys can still see body language. You guys know body language is 80% of our dialogue. So I have a question more and more whether or not I'm actually buying or just renting that object. Like music. If you stream music, you're not buying music, you're renting it. That's why I buy CDs. Now that Mirage is here, I'm gonna put one on camera. Oh God, I can't reach it. Oh God. Alright, Mirage knows which one this is. If you guys don't know, you need to get it. They're probably on stage right now in Germany. Cheers to the boys. Congratulations. They have a #1 album. Probably going to get a Grammy for songwriting, recording quality. Amazing. Absolutely stunning album. Many manufacturers have been missing the words buy and purchase. What is this guy saying? Toes? Yeah, my toes are a mess right now too, by the way. Wow, I have one less like on my stream. I saw there was like 6 or 7 and now there's only 5. Boo, people are unliking the stream. Oh, is that for True Voice of Reason? Was that you because I put my toes on camera? Come on, man, that's not fair. You see the thumbnail for this live stream afterwards is going to be my feet with like 18 plus images over my feet. It's funny. But yeah, Sleep Token band, yeah, Germany right now, Rock in the Park or something like that in Germany. Nuremberg, I don't know how to say it properly, but anyways. Yeah. Inspire youth. That's the point of the stream, was inspire youth, inspire a generation by being real with them, understanding what their needs are, and finding something that works, not because you need to sell a product, but because it's really going to work for them. Headphone differences, cable differences, device differences, how to get better sound from the computer. But then also the big problem is, if you're gaming and you're a kid and you don't own a home yet, you're renting an apartment, you have a room in a house, you're with your parents in a basement, whatever the case may be. I mean, there's 35-year-old plus that's still in their parents' basement, so that's besides the point. You need to be able to inspire them with something that's going to work out, and like a live audio system like I have in my room is really amazing, but it's only amazing to those people if they can experience it. So like going to a store, listening to it in store, or having people visit the house, or you know what I mean, like gifting a system to some of the kids, like that's the best idea. If brands would have some sort of a system set up where they can, you know, give away a system, a demo a system, like the show is going on now in California, on South California. The show, they have a film festival that's going on. SVS is sponsored or is the exclusive audio system for the film festival. So all of the people there listening to the movies and film are experiencing surround sound as a home theater idea in that environment. So if there's kids there, then they get to experience what that's like. Now, of course, a home theater is probably going to be owned by the parents, but it could also be there for the kids. But if you get a smaller system for gaming, you can definitely tune it for kids. It doesn't have to be a big system. It just has to work properly. I really believe if you show them the path, they will value taking the path. That's my honest position. I think I'm done in here. It's so warm. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining. Mirage, I'm sorry. You missed like everything today. Oh, look at that. Those who stick around, I got you. I got you. I'll see everybody next weekend. I don't know what I have planned. I don't know if I'm going to audio stores. I don't really have anything planned. I know that I'm supposed to be working with the local shop EQ Audio. They have a number of things planned for the summer, summer events, probably some photography videos, updating the web page, something like that. There was plans for that going on, so we'll have to see what happens. The work schedule is pretty much the same. I'm still working like 6 to 3 every day, 6 to 3:30 sometimes, so my weekdays are sort of chopped up. I thought about doing a live like every day between 5 and 6 Eastern Standard Time. Would anybody agree? Thumbs up. A daily 5 to 6. About feet, remember to ground yourself 15 minutes a day. Health benefits. Yeah, I don't know, but this like, what if I just wrap a copper wire around my foot and plug it into the wall? Like over there, like if I plug can I, like over there, if I touch, yo man, can I just stick my toe in the, can I stick my toe in the outlet? Is that going to work? You know, I know what you mean, to like actually walk around and touch the earth and be grounded. I actually can't tell you the last time I went barefoot outside. That's probably not a bad idea. Once it starts to get a little, the sun starts to go down here, I might go for a walk. That's something else I wanted to do. Oh, the copper thing, I can tell you about more benefits. You can even make a copper bed shed, and connect to the outside while sleep. Oh yes, I've heard about that. Having grounding wires run through your bed, so while you sleep, you're actually grounded. Yeah, I've heard about that. Sheet with a T. Do I need to write it in the chat? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. What else? Hug a tree. I routinely high five the trees when I'm riding my bike. Like touch the leaves, check the, like at the spring growth, see how much things are coming in. Mirage saying, I love camping as I go bare feet, and it does feel good. I do have grounding mats, and it's not the same. Yeah, I love being able to walk around on the sandy beaches barefoot. Problem is now, like, there are a lot of really, really like ignorant people that ruin stuff like that. Because if you go walking barefoot now, you don't know what you're getting into. It's not like, we don't live in Japan. And even Japan is becoming less like Japan, and that's sad. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that issue right now. I'm definitely not going to open up that can of worms. All I can say is if your local community is changing for a reason, a certain reason, whatever the first reason that comes to mind, it's unfortunate that same reason is probably happening everywhere. I'm really concerned about that, and I hope that somebody's got a bigger plan, because it's not good. We don't need communities falling apart. Not good at all. We have enough problems already, and we want to inspire the future. We don't need that conflict. Anyways, I think that's enough for me. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to take your advice. I will go get grounded, and then I will, I might do, because I come home from work pretty much every day at about the same time. Pretty consistent. My brother doesn't come home till later on in the evening, so I have a number of hours every evening, but I don't know if I can make it consistent, but I can try. I can try to set up a schedule so it's pretty consistent, where we just hang out for an hour. I can sit at my desktop and we can go over some stuff, not in here, but it's just at my desktop. And then every weekend, Saturday, I can come in and do this. So maybe like weekdays, like Monday to Thursday. Monday to Thursday, we can do like an hour, and then Friday off, and then Saturday come and do a live here. Trying to upload a video of my room. We are honest, right? Sorry, it looks like BS. It just moved all my stuff in there. Yeah, you know what? I think tagging and sharing the videos like we were trying to do is a great idea. To get more people involved, share more things, talk about stuff, connect with people. That's what we were talking about earlier. Like, check in on your friends, message your friends and say, hey, what's going on? Like, respond to them. Send them a message, like, I was just here, whatever, this reminded me of you. You know how good that feels to have someone message you and say, hey, I saw this photo, it reminded me of you. That's such a powerful thing to send to somebody, to say, this reminded me of you. Remember the time when, or this song reminds me of you. Or even send a song and say, hey, this is a new song. What do you think? That means so much to people. Please do more of that. Send people these messages. Check in on them and say, hey, how you been? What's going on? Send them a joke. Just be in touch. It doesn't have to be significant. It doesn't have to be a half hour out of your life. It could just be, hey, how are you doing? And not like a serious how you're doing, or like, hey, like whatever, just a couple of minutes. Don't let these moments go by. You can never get these moments back again. And believe me, when you don't have the time to say it anymore, and when people accidentally or suddenly disappear and they're not around anymore, you really regret not telling them. You'll really, really think about, damn, I should have said something. I should have contacted them. I should have been in touch. And then it'll be too late. So do it today. We don't think those thoughts are meaningful or someone else, but they are. Yeah, they really are. Let's react whenever we have them. Exactly. Because you know what? Accidents happen. Things happen in life. And then all of a sudden, for no reason at all, or some reason or whatever, that person that you think about occasionally but never contact may not be there one day. And then what? Yeah, there you go. Home theater, man. I understand exactly what you mean about being alone and having that like isolated sort of time. Your mind just goes to the dumbest shit and you just wish it would just shut up. Yes. Yep, I agree with you. It's hard. And like, I don't have cats at home. I don't have kids at home. I don't have roommates, really. Like, my brother's around every once in a while, but like, after, if it's at work and the guy's there, I don't get along with that well, and then I come home and I have no one to talk to, and then it's most of my time that's online. That's the only time I get to talk with my friends, like right now. That's why I'm here doing the live. Life sure is short. I just lost a cousin last week. I'm really sorry to hear that. So we were not close, but she is gone. Exactly. And it's, that's the one thing we can't do anything about. But you can reach out to them today. Whoever it is, reach out to them and say like what we can do, whoever we can be today is good enough. It doesn't matter whatever the perception is. Don't think of the gesture as the content is valuable. We're under this spell to think the content is important. No, showing up is important. So I'm not going to read that message out entirely, but I empathize with the point. So I won't lie, but I'm thinking about eating every day, and I still find an excuse to keep going. That's why I got dogs. They saved my life. I 100% agree with you there. You gotta look beyond those things and think about every week you and I can have this, right? That is enough for me to keep doing it. Cool? So like every week I get to see you here. That's the goal. That's the reason to come back and keep doing stuff. I'm going to show up for you and for the community. My reason is to do this next week, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. Yeah, I can't do that well because I'm on stream. It'll just be worse. If you're texting, then. But I mean, that's how it feels. I'm right there with you, man. That's exactly the point. That's what we should be doing for everybody. This stuff doesn't matter. The subs, the amps, this stuff, like, this is not the point. This is fun, but the real reason we're here is for the community, for the people that are involved, and that's the most important thing that we have. So we have to respect those things. We have to show up and honor those things, because otherwise, what's the point? Yeah, I'm just that sensitive after life. What life brought me, I'm happy about it. I got in touch with my true self. And that's important, man. You know, some people go through life and they never really understand what's going on. One's true self, how we really need to be in life, is important. And it sometimes does get painful. But at the end of it all, like, it's that state of awareness helps us bridge gaps, helps us to reach others, helps us to heal and understand others in that sense. So I think that's incredibly important too. I mean, and think about the reason why I say to inspire a next generation is because they need the same interaction. They need to feel part of something. You know, and I think that makes a huge difference in anyone's life, is to feel part of something. Yeah, that's an important point. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys to it. It's an hour and 40 minutes here. We're almost at. So it's important to reflect on these topics. What is really valuable? What are we really doing here? Yeah, perspective and the view on things. Yes. No way. I see. Sorry to take it another route. No, that's half of my channel. The reason why the channel is called Sci-Phonics is because of psychology and sound. And psychology is exactly what we've been discussing partially today. How to inspire a generation is based on some of these things. You know, how people feel is half of the business. People are inspired by enthusiasm. Products and brands and moments and interactions and all of these events are basically marketed and sold on enthusiasm, and that's a psychological state. That's how we feel. That's what this stuff does. It inspires. It makes us enjoy. We enjoy it. That's a psychological state. So it's not a different route. It's important and it's worth it. Losing anyone near enough to you is not something anyone wants to go through. Yeah, and you guys know this room is all set up for my mom in white. Like, her room and her home was decorated in white, you know, and she passed away early in 23 or early 22, can't remember now. 23, I believe. So yeah, I'm gonna go out and see if the smoke has completely covered the sky. That sucks. Yeah, the Sci-Phonics name. Yeah, it's supposed to touch everyone. We're supposed to, it's part of it. The big part of it is for the people. That's why it's important. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much to True Voice of Reason, Mirage Bryston, Home Theater Denmark. Trones is probably here somewhere. Trones usually always sticks around, and I appreciate that. I really do. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot that I can connect with people and leave something important, whether it resonates at the time or people come and find it later on. I really do hope that people understand what I'm trying to do here and leave the thoughts in the comments, of course, afterwards. Laughing and having a good time is one thing, but to be in touch with the root of things and to be honest with yourself, to understand what we really need to heal and to be okay in ourselves is also important. So while we're doing all of this, make sure this isn't just a distraction for what's happening inside. So I would give anything just to hug them again. Of course. Absolutely. That's what we do here, and that's why this is, inspiring. We're all sort of together. And this room is a tribute in honor of people like that. My mom liked that. She loved hanging out with people, inspiring people, welcoming people, being accommodating, playing music, checking everything out, that kind of thing. I have a playlist for her on my Spotify and Koba's playlist, so much respects to everybody. That's actually why this chair is pink. My mom would always be like, you can't have black everywhere. Don't make black everything. Black is so, so I have a pink chair because I think it would have made her laugh. Anyways, I'll see all you guys in the future. Thank you for being here and watching and being, cool enough and welcoming enough to listen to my thoughts and whatever we're doing here on the weekend. Thanks to all of those who watch, who've come to join after the fact. I appreciate you all. I hope the weekend is great for you. Next week is great for you. Do something special for yourself. Enjoy the moment. Inspire someone this week to get into audio, to listen to a new song, to just have a conversation about something interesting in that sense, so we can build a community that values the idea of like music and like what it does to all of our lives and what it's given us. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Hitchhiking into the future. All right. Take it easy.